So I'm going to share. We normally do our proclamation this morning, and I forgot to tell you this, but don't put it on the screen. We're not going to do it. Not because I don't want to. Thank you for putting it in there. But I had something else that I wanted to share with you, and it'll give you an extra minute to sit down. But don't go to sleep. So this week I wanted to share with you what I did this week. I had the opportunity this week to attend what is called the Experience. Y'all can sit down. It's going to take a minute. I'll try not to preach. I attended the Experience concert in Orlando, and what this is it is a conference for worship leaders that is put on by worship leaders. And there are sessions throughout the days, there are worship services. I could tell you names of contemporary Christian artists and groups that were there, and you would shake your head that you know them, that they're all on the radio. But it was 1,500 worship leaders. I guess I have to say nationwide. I know there was one person that came from Singapore or something like that flew over for this conference. And it started on Tuesday, it went through Friday, and we would all gather together for these general sessions. They would speak, and they had a different speaker every night. They had different singers who sang, and it's meant to inspire and to refresh worship leaders. You know, I don't know if you know this, because I'm so energetic, but as worship leaders and as pastors and people who serve and work in the church every time, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's exhausting. And sometimes we are so focused on creating a beautiful worship service and serving God so that we can minister to you, that sometimes we forget to experience ourselves. And so this week was a beautiful moment where all of these worship leaders and all of these teams within the churches came together and they got to sit and absorb and experience. And that's not to say that I'm not blessed every Sunday worshiping with you and leading you in worship. That is a blessing. But it was nice to sit in what I would call just soak it up for a few minutes. But at one point in the conference, they encouraged everyone at the end to speak the things that God had done for them and the things that they were thankful for. And he wanted us all to pray and to start praying out loud. Okay. I was brought up Pentecostal, and when they said, let us go to the Lord in prayer, everybody prayed out loud. So I've been a Methodist now, 15 years? We don't pray out loud together. We just let the person leading the prayer pray, and we bow our heads and we do it silently. So first of all, it was a little funny to me, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's been so long. And the more you find that you begin to speak those words, it just comes so naturally. And I began to thank God not only for what He's done, but for what I know that He can do in this church and in the ministry at East Ridge. And throughout that whole conference, I kept East Ridge at the first thought of my thoughts the whole time, because I know He's got His hand on our church. You know, we had talks about stewardship of the last couple of weeks, and Butch came up and he said, you know, Jackie's worried about it. I'm kind of worried about it. The Lord always comes through. It always works out. And I believe that it does. And I believe that God has something wonderful for us if we will be open to what He's going to say. I want to tell you this. When I took this position here and they asked me to come back, I asked to meet with the SPR committee, and they said, what is your vision for East Ridge? And I don't mind telling you this. They probably already told you anyway. Everybody talks about everything. But I said, you know, I feel like it is my job and my ministry to lead a worship service each week where every person in there at one point in time in the service has found something that spoke to them. And when they leave the service, they leave and said, I encountered God today. You know, I stood in the midst of 1,500 people. I joked and said it was a room full of 1,500 music directors singing all the songs that we all know in like 468-part harmony. Because they all singing out loud and lifting. You know, I love it when you clap. I love it when you lift your hands and you sing out to the Lord. If you want to dance in the aisle or shout hallelujah, that would bless me. But you know what? The most important thing, if you sit in your seat all morning and you just soak in quietly the blessings that the Lord has for you, the most important thing, I cannot stress this enough to you, is when you open these doors, you get to experience God. It's our 1 hour every week that we get to refresh together and to build each other up. So I invite you this morning, as we stand and we sing together, to take a moment to just experience the Lord this morning and accept the blessings that He has for you and for the ministry of this church. Amen. Can you sing this? earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. For great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. For great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. For great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. You only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise to your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. You only. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. For great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry. These bones will sing. For great are you, Lord. It's your breath. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise to your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. Worthy